कोई ऐसा तो नहीं है जिसको हिंदी ना समझ में आ रही हो? Anybody from you who are unable to understand Hindi? Raise your hand. No, it's okay. So that is good. आप सभी का स्वागत है इस सेमिनार में, जिसका टॉपिक रखा है क्लासिकल ग्रुप्स एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन थ्योरी। जब कभी भी इस टॉपिक की बात होती है तो अक्सर मुझे अपनी एमएससी की क्लास याद आ जाती है, जब प्रोफेसर रामजी लाल सर से हम सब ग्रुप थ्योरी का एक कोर्स पढ़ा करते थे और उसमें रिप्रेजेंटेशन थ्योरी एक पार्ट हुआ करती थी। वहीं से शुरुआत हुई थी कुछ कुछ मैथमेटिक्स सीखने की और समझने की। उसके बाद कई बार प्रोफेसर रामजी लाल सर ने और प्रोफेसर सत्यदेव त्रिपाठी सर ने, दोनों लोगों ने मिलकर के रिप्रेजेंटेशन थ्योरी को लेकर के कोर्स शुरू करने की कोशिश की और वो सफल भी हुई। नासी के अंतर्गत रिप्रेजेंटेशन थ्योरी का एक कोर्स चलाया भी गया था, लेकिन कुछ कारणों से वो बीच में ही ब्रेक हो गया और वो कारण हम सबको पता है कि कोविड की महामारी के कारण। और चूंकि वो पूरी तरीके से ऑफलाइन कोर्स था तो हम सबको ऑफलाइन ही सीखना था, करना था। और जब ये महामारी शुरू हुई थी तो हम सबके पास कोई उपाय भी नहीं था। ऑनलाइन टीचिंग इस तरीके की जितना फ्रीक्वेंटली अब हम कर पा रहे हैं, उतना टीचिंग और लर्निंग का प्रोसेस भी नहीं था दिमाग में। धीरे धीरे करके सारी चीजें डेवलप हुई और हम लोगों ने लगातार प्रोफेसर बीएल शर्मा हायर मैथमेटिक्स ट्रस्ट के अंतर्गत बहुत सारी गतिविधियों को किया भी। और फिर हम लोगों ने एक रिक्वेस्ट की प्रोफेसर रामजीलाल सर से कि आप एक सेमिनार के रूप में चीजों को करें और हम सब सीखेंगे। तो बिना किसी भूमिका के हम सबसे पहले हम सबके बीच में प्रोफेसर बीएल शर्मा उच्चतर गणित न्यास के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर सत्यदेव सर हैं। हम उन्हीं से अनुरोध करते हैं कि अपने विचारों को और हम किस तरीके से इस सेमिनार को आगे बढ़ा पाएं और कैसे ये जो है लोगों के बीच में थोड़ा पॉपुलर भी हो सके, एक लंबी अवधि तक चलने वाला ये कार्यक्रम है। तो अपने विचार रखें सर।
Thank you, Swapnil. I think everybody can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Professor Ramji Lal and all other friends and participants in this online seminar. I am really very happy that this seminar is taking place. As Swapnil has mentioned, the first time when the seminar on representation theory was started, it was in NASI, National Academy of Sciences, India. And it was, as he said, it was an offline seminar given by Professor Ramji Lal. But I must tell you, it was highly appreciated because every once in a while when I used to go to NASI headquarters, people used to tell me that the seminar in mathematics is going on very well. And it is because of the interest of Professor Ramji Lal that he tried to make it very interesting and a very regular seminar. The seminar is being organized under Professor B.L. Sharma Higher Mathematics Trust. And as I have been saying every time, Professor Sharma wanted that everybody who is interested in mathematics should have a broad background. So it is in that connection that this seminar fits very well. The topic of the seminar, classical groups and representation theory, is a very fundamental topic in mathematics. And I think all of us must be familiar with the basics of this particular topic. And Professor Ramji Lal is an expert, and I'm sure you know that he has written in his book also, this chapter is there. So you can also read his book simultaneously, and you can also hear his lectures in this seminar. And you are going to enjoy it. I'm very positive about this. And of course, it is going to be online. So sometimes, technical difficulties appear. But I think by now, all of us are accustomed to those sort of technical difficulties. For example, today it was to start at 3:30, but it could not start at 3:30 because of some technical problem. So small problems may be here and there, but don't mind those things. Just concentrate on the mathematics, which will be presented in this seminar. And I am very happy that Professor Ramji Lal himself offered to give this seminar. And even Christian College has been organizing activities under Professor B.L. Sharma Higher Mathematics Trust. And this is yet another program under that college. And I'm very happy that college is successfully conducting all these various programs. So I wish that it is a great success. It is going to be twice a week. Of course, it will be 1.5 hours twice a week. So it is actually very rigorous in that sense. So you may leisurely start learning the subject. And of course, Professor Ramji Lal will handle it very carefully and nicely. So I wish this seminar a great success. And please, if you have any kind of problems, then the organizers, Swapnil is there, and other people are there, so they will handle your difficulties. So with these words, I wish all the success for this seminar. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बिल्कुल, ये सेमिनार जैसा सर ने कहा कि हम सब शुरू कर रहे हैं, और इसमें सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि सीखने वाले अधिकतर कहीं ना कहीं पढ़ा भी रहे हैं और वो सीखना चाहते हैं। एक अच्छाई ये जरूर हुई है ऑनलाइन से कि हम सब अलग अलग जगह पर रहते हुए एक साथ कनेक्ट होकर के और आसानी से चीजों को सीख लेंगे, क्योंकि एक साथ इतने लोगों को इकट्ठा होना जो कि देश भर से अलग अलग कोनों से हैं और उनके द्वारा रेगुलरली इस तरीके का सेमिनार करना बहुत ही मुश्किल काम रहा। एक वर्कशॉप तो हो सकती है, लेकिन उसके अंदर फ्रीडम हो कि 2 दिन हम हफ्ते में पढ़ाई करें और उसके बाद कुछ करें अपने आप। कुछ सवाल होंगे सेमिनार के रूप में, जो कुछ भी सवाल होंगे वो डिस्कशन के रूप में भी हम सब आगे रखेंगे और इस तरीके से चीजों को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। एक चीज अक्सर रामजी लाल सर कहा करते हैं और उसको मैं दोहरा भी रहा हूं कि स्वप्निल, अगर कोई बात ना समझ में आए तो मुझे टोक दिया करो, मैं बताने की पूरी कोशिश करूंगा। तुम लोग कुछ बोलते नहीं हो तो लगता है कि तुम लोगों को सारी बातें समझ में आ रही हैं और मुझे लगता है कि कुछ और बताना चाहिए और आगे मैं स्पीड में बढ़ जाऊं। तो आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि अगर हमको कोई भी दिक्कत लगती है टॉपिक से रिलेटेड, तो आप सब तुरंत या दूसरे दिन सेमिनार का जो कुछ भी हो उसमें आप पूछ सकते हैं और फ्रीली आप पूछिए, क्योंकि ये कोई टाइम बाउंड का सेमिनार नहीं रखा गया है। हम लोगों ने, जैसा सर ने कहा, कि हफ्ते में 2 दिन ये सेमिनार रखा हुआ है और करीब 45 से 50 मिनट हम लोग कुछ सर से सुनेंगे, सीखेंगे और उसके बाद जो है डिस्कशन का टॉप हो सकता है कि जितना ज्यादा डिस्कशन होगा उतनी सारी चीजें निकल करके आएंगी। तो बहुत सारे लोग इस सेमिनार में हैं, जैसा मैंने पहले भी कहा, बहुत सारे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स हैं, बहुत सारे मेरे सीनियर्स भी हैं। हम सबके बीच में प्रोफेसर हिमाद्री कुमार मुखर्जी सर भी हैं। सर, आप कुछ अगर कहेंगे तो हम सबको अच्छा लगेगा। हिमाद्री सर। चलिए ठीक है, कुछ कनेक्टिविटी की दिक्कत हो सकती है सर के पास, और अब हम जो है रामजी लाल सर से ही रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि सेमिनार का प्रारूप क्या होगा और किस तरीके से उन्होंने सोचा हुआ है कि वो हम सबको सिखाएंगे, वो थोड़ा सा हम लोगों को बता करके और फिर जो है सेमिनार को शुरू करें सब।
हाँ, ये एक मिनट, मेरा अनम्यूट हो गया है, अभी तक हो नहीं पा रहा था, तो
अच्छा जी सर।
एक चीज थोड़ा सा हम उनको ये चाहेंगे कि वो ये जो टॉपिक्स है ना, जितने क्लासिकल ग्रुप्स और तरह तरह के टॉपिक्स हैं
जी,
तो क्या इसमें कुछ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड भी है लेक्चर्स की सारे लेक्चर्स रामजी लाल जी ही देंगे?
इसमें ये सोचा गया था कि हम सब लोग मिल करके करेंगे।
हाँ।
रामजी लाल सर लेक्चर तो देंगे ही देंगे, लेकिन और लोग भी जो इंटरेस्टेड हों, स्वागत है उन सभी लोगों का कि वो लेक्चर दें और उस माध्यम से हम सब मिल करके सीखेंगे जी।
अच्छा ठीक है, नहीं क्योंकि उसमें अगर पहले सबको अलॉट कर दिया जाता जो जो इंटरेस्टेड है तो उसी हिसाब से लोग अपना अपना टॉपिक चुन लेते और फिर उस पर कर देते। इनमें बाद में भी हो सकता है, अभी शुरू तो हो जाए, इट कैन बी, ये तो काफी लंबा चलेगा ये सेमिनार।
जी जी
ठीक है, हमारे ख्याल से इतना ही काफी है।
ठीक।
For suggestions and for inaugurating the program by Professor Satyadev ji. I'm so thankful to all of you here. And so let me also say some preamble about the seminar, which I have thought about. So let me start here at the very outset. So in one of the earlier meetings of BLS Higher Math, it was felt and decided to have seminars on some central and fundamental topics in mathematics, such as linear algebra with applications, classical groups, representation theory, geometry, particularly differential and algebraic geometry, algebraic topology, differential topology, and Lie theory, etc., for the benefit of the graduate students and people working in mathematics. This is one in this series of seminars, in the series of seminars to follow. Topic of the seminar is classical group and representation theory, which is indeed an application of linear algebra, more or less linear algebra. And as Himadri suggested, I mean, I'll talk about the topics which we shall try to cover. And definitely, Professor, there are topics in which Professor Himadri, Professor Shabshan Khare, and Professor S.S. Khare will be, they will be more competent to talk about those things. And these classical groups can be treated as a prerequisite for those things. So the classification of manifolds, for example, differentiable manifolds and vector bundles, etc. So I'll talk about this. So the seminar will be divided in two parts. The first part will deal with classical groups over arbitrary fields and their structure theory. We may also study homogeneous spaces coming out of the classical groups over R, over the field of real numbers, over the field of C of complex numbers, over the quaternion rings, Hamiltonian algebra, principal bundles, the fundamental groups of classical groups, and in turn the classification of vector bundles over spheres, and many more things, as Himadri has already talked about. And I prefer, I wish to have the participation of all of us here. So it will be good to have a broad spectrum of this. So indeed, the seminar on classical groups was conceived as some prerequisite for the proposed seminar by, I think, S.S. Khare and other people over here. So it is in this spirit it is to be taken here. In the second part, we shall concentrate on the representation theory of classical groups. Here, we shall be content with the general representation theory and not the modular representation theory. We shall be interested in representation theory of compact, in particular finite groups, You see, in my book, you can find out we can see the representation theory of finite groups, but the compact group representation theory of compact group is not given over there. And in the algebra 4, a little bit is there, but that the orientation is towards the Shivale group. So, so that is there. You can find over a little bit the basics of representation theory in those books. So indeed, the representation theory of linear groups, for example, GLNC, the general linear group over the field of complex number, can be reduced to that of the representation theory of its maximal compact subgroup UN, which indeed in most of the linear groups, reductive groups and all those groups. So it can be reduced using the Wiles trick. So Wiles trick will also be, I mean, we shall try to have there. So this is, finally, let me, let it be a study program, as Dr. Land Satdevji has already mentioned. Let it be a study program, and let us all be a part of the study by trying exercises and by filling the blanks wherever needed. So we will all be involved. We should be involved. So please feel free to interact and intercept, to discuss your doubts and questions which may arise in your mind. And you may also give some good ideas. I don't know, means something may come out of it, you know. You see, quite at times, good, original researches have come right from the classrooms. So you people can also give, nobody knows where it may come from. So it is in this spirit, let us proceed further. So I request the technical people handling the webinar, for example, to make this possible. See, we should, it should be made possible. Further, we can have discussion session after 2 or 3 talks in which we can further talk about. So there are plenty of excellent books on the topics which are available on LibGen, as LibGen, I hope it is LibGen, right? And you can go through that, so that to supplement these things and to have more fruitful outcomes. So I'll give the list of these references. So इसको मैं लिख दूं या फिर इसको मैं टाइप नहीं किया, इसको लिख दूं या अच्छा मैं लिख देता हूं. Okay, so I'll give those things over here.
कैसे लिखते हैं? इससे share screen और whiteboard. Whiteboard. Whiteboard इसका वाला है. नहीं. Whiteboard. ये ड्रा वाला कर ले, ड्रा कर ले इसको चला. So I give the references here. So first the classical. Okay, here where is the draw कर दिया क्या? Draw कर दिया. Draw कर दिया. ये पेन कहाँ है? पेन किसी में So the first book by Hermann Weyl, the classical groups, their representations and their representations. So I'll write here classical groups. So I'm sorry, I'm not accustomed with giving talk on this thing. So my writing may be very bad here. So please bear with me. So classical groups, their representations
and the representation by Hermann Weyl. So by Hermann Weyl. So this is quite an old book, but still it is, there are certain classics which will remain classic for quite some time. So this is by Hermann Weyl. And second book is, there are plenty of books. So Representation Theory of Finite Groups and Associative Algebra by Curtis and Renner. So representation theory, there are 3 volumes here. Representation theory by and associative algebra. So I'm sorry, I'm not exactly giving the topic here. Representation theory and associative algebras by Curtis, C.W. Curtis and Renner. It's an excellent book, Curtis and Renner. And I may say here, there are 2 more volumes by the same author, The Methods of Representation Theory. And of course, the 3rd volume deals with the Brouwer representation theory, as I understand, if I'm correct. So, but these 2 volumes are good. The first one is representation theory for finite groups. It is not for compact groups. We shall be interested in compact groups also. So the 3rd reference is the linear representations by J.P. Sayre. So that is the linear representations by J.P. Sayre. Linear representations by J.P. Sayre. J.P. Sayre. So this is also an excellent book. Representation Theory by Fulton and Harris is also an excellent book. Representation Theory by Fulton and Harris. Theory by Fulton and Harris. So this is okay. And then there are other books. स्वप्निल इसको हमको आगे करना है, इससे इसको आगे बढ़ाना। इसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए ये पेज बदल दें। कैसे? ये वो तो बना गया था कि खींच रहे ऐसे, तो नहीं इससे वहाँ पे इससे करो, इस पे क्लिक करके फिर नीचे करो, क्लिक करके नीचे करो, स्क्रॉल करो जुड़ रहा है नहीं, क्यों नहीं कर रहा है, स्क्रॉल नहीं हो रहा है, तो ये पता नहीं, इनको बता के तो अच्छा चलिए कुछ नहीं, मैं देखता हूँ। तो इसको हम वो करते हैं, मिटा दें क्या इसको? हाँ इसको मिटा सकते हैं, ये मिट तो जाएगा, ठीक है। अभी डिलीट कर नहीं, आप तो अपने ग्रुप के हैं तो आप काट वाला है ना, क्या कैसे होगा इसे? इससे मिटेगा नहीं, हम कर देंगे, तेजी में मिटा देंगे, छोड़िए इसको, अच्छी दिखाएगा कुछ नहीं, ठीक मत परेशान हो। फिर हम आज हम देख लेते हैं, तो फिर ये करूँ कहाँ है वो, एक पेन नहीं लिख रहा, फिर नहीं लिख रहा सर एक मिनट। I should have typed it. So there are लिख नहीं रहा है, कुछ वो कर रहा है। ओके सर एक मिनट। So then representation theory of compact groups by Tom Dick. So representation theory of compact groups by Tom Dick. Representation theory by Tom Dick. And there is one more author, Broker. Tom Dick. Representation theory of compact groups. And there is also a very excellent book, and of course it may require a little bit of thing. So Lectures on Lie Groups by Adams. It's an excellent book, very thin book, but it's excellent. I mean, it's I like it so much. And then of course Algebra 2 and Algebra 4 by me is there. So algebra 2 deals with the finite representations of finite groups, the basic representation theory. Algebra 4 deals a little bit more. And then there are group theory books by Suzuki, which is also good, volume 1 and 2. So these are the references which are there for, so you can go through these, and maybe you can बहुत गड़बड़ है, तरीके से काम कर
कुछ नहीं, ऐसे ही हम लोग सीखते हैं सब लोग.
Okay, so now I'll come to the basic things, the classical groups. So this is a very elementary, the basic lecture, and it is basically linear algebra. And I hope all of us are familiar with most of the things. Sometimes some new things, I mean something maybe different. So so let F be a field. So let F be a field. So F be a field. So field, maybe field of real numbers, field of complex numbers, field of rational numbers, or field of, there are other fields also, periodic numbers, etc. So, or it may be division algebra also. For example, the quaternion ring. Sometimes, at times, we may come to that quaternion ring also. And linear algebra over division ring has also a good amount of, I mean, one can do a lot of things over there. So let F be a field. And then consider, so we are all familiar with the field. So field may be finite, field may be field of real numbers, field of complex numbers, or in any field. So, some structures of finite fields are known. For example, the multiplicative group of finite field is cyclic, etc., etc. So, so I think we are all familiar with the basic literature about the fields. And if anything is not clear, and if you need anything about this, you may ask. So let F be a field, and let V be a vector space. So I hope we are all familiar with this. Let V be a vector space, a finite dimensional vector space. So I think we are all familiar with this. So we are all familiar with this, I suppose. Finite dimensional vector space. Space over R, space over F. So V be a vector space over F, and then consider ought F, or so to say ought V, or so to say GLV. We also denote by GLV the set of all endomorphisms of V. So this is a group. This is a group with respect to composition of maps. So this is a group. This is called general linear group. So this is called general linear group. Group over F, over here. Now recall, if V is a finite dimensional vector space and you fix a basis, so fix a basis. So this is very elementary lecture, and I think we all are familiar with these things. So, but still, if you feel anything, you can ask. So X be a basis here, X1, X2, Xn, n-dimensional vector space is this. So then any member T of GLV has a matrix representation. So T can be given a matrix representation that I'll denote by MXT, the matrix of T with respect to this basis, and this is precisely a matrix whose n cross n matrix whose ith row and jth column is Aij is given by this equation. So T of Xj here will be linear combination of Xi. So that I'm writing as Aij Xi. So this gives you a matrix. So this is the matrix representation of T with respect to this. So this actually gives you a map from GLV. So this gives you a map from GLV. And incidentally, this matrix, since T is an automorphism, this matrix is an invertible matrix. And indeed, what we all know,
हम देख रहे हैं
बड़ा रोजी गड़बड़ सब गड़बड़ क्यों हो रहा है ये लगा नहीं है क्या हाँ ये वो है सॉरी so GLV so this so we have a mapping from GLV to the set of n cross n matrices which is here the set of all matrices here. So indeed, this can be thought of as a map from the set of all endomorphisms to the set of all matrices. And this indeed takes invertible transformations to invertible matrices. And as such, it induces a homomorphism from GLV to the set of all invertible matrices. So GL and F, this denotes the set of all n cross n invertible matrices. The algebra of matrices we are all familiar. So this actually MX gives you an isomorphism from GLV to GLNF, the group of all n. So this is also called a general linear group. GLNF is also called a general linear group over the field n cross n matrices. And MX is an isomorphism from GLV to GLNV. Of course, this depends on the choice of the basis X, but if you change the basis, the image here will be just conjugate, the images will just vary over the conjugacy classes here, that will vary over the conjugates. So that is GLNF. So I hope you are all familiar with these basic things. So GLV and GLNF here. So I'll restrict now to GLNF. The general linear group over F. Now, from GLNF to the field F star, the group of non-zero elements of the field F star, which is an Abelian group, as you all know, we have the determinant map. And you see that this determinant map from GLNF to F star is a homomorphism. This is a homomorphism because determinant AB is equal to determinant A into determinant B. See, determinant AB, the property of the determinant, you know, determinant AB is equal to determinant A into determinant B. So this determinant is a homomorphism, and indeed it is a surjective homomorphism. This determinant is a surjective homomorphism. How it is surjective homomorphism? Because if you take any alpha belonging to F star, you have the matrix which one can take alpha 1 1 1 in the diagonal here, and this is the matrix. This is alpha mapped to this from F star to this is indeed a homomorphism. That is a homomorphism from F star to GL and F. Right now, so this is a surjective homomorphism. Any alpha is a image of this. So therefore, this actually gives you an exact sequence. What is the kernel of determinant? The kernel of determinant is the set of those matrices whose determinant is 1, because 1 is the identity here. So that is the kernel, and that kernel therefore is a normal subgroup of GLNF, and we have an exact sequence here. 1 goes to SLNF, to GLNF, so to F star, to identity. So this is a map, and SLNF is the set of all matrices whose determinant is 1, n cross n matrices whose determinant is 1, which is the kernel of this determinant map. So you get this exact sequence, which is a surjective homomorphism. This SLNF is called a general linear group. This is called special linear group. This is called a special linear group. Group over F. This is a special linear group over it. Now recall here that map alpha goes to this alpha A here, alpha goes to this elements, which I will write, say for example, the matrix whose diagonal matrix whose first diagonal entry is alpha. So D1 alpha, alpha coming to D1 alpha is a splitting here. It's a splitting here. That is, this is a homomorphism, and this and determinant composed is identity mapping here. So this is a splitting here, and you can therefore see that Gn and F can be written as a semi-direct product of Sn and F and F star. So therefore Gn and F. So here, so in a way, given any matrix A in Gn and F here, you can write it as an element B, which is an element of Sn and F, into an element of D1 alpha here, where this alpha can be taken to be the determinant of A inverse. You take the determinant A inverse here, right? And D1 alpha. So put the first row, first column entry to be determinant A inverse, and this, and take this to be this. So B is indeed A into D1 alpha inverse. And since the A determinant of A is here, so the determinant of B is 1. So therefore B belongs to Sn. So this is a splitting. So every element of Gn and F can be expressed. So it's a very explicit description. You can describe Gn and F and F star very explicitly. To study Gn and F is and F star that is N. So F star for multiplicative group of the field of field quite a bit is known, and it reduces to the study of SNNF. So we'll be coming to SNNF. I mean, see to this. So this is first thing which I wanted to say here, and now I'm coming to some basic again basic linear algebra. So now recall that we have certain elementary operations. We are all familiar with elementary operations. अगर आप लोगों को जरा सा भी किसी चीज का नहीं वो तो बता दीजिएगा प्लीज. I think these things are done in BSc itself, and इसमें भी कोई भी confusion हो about anything, we can have discussions etc. about those things. So this is GLNF. Now there are elementary operations. You all know what are the elementary operations: elementary row operations and elementary column operations. So let me mention that. Elementary. So this is very basic lecture. Elementary row, but these are so important: row and column operations. On matrices, which of course are simply corresponding to. So usually I say I'll restrict myself to f to the power n. So our vector space will be f to the power n is here. So f is a vector field. F to the power n is a vector space with respect to the coordinate wise addition and so on. So f to the power n is a vector space, and a matrix A will be treated as a transformation like this: x bar into A. So this x bar is what is a vector. So x bar is a row vector. So I will take this to be a row vector x1, x2, xn, and treat it as a 1 cross n matrix and multiply it. So therefore, this A has a faithful representation as this. So normally, most of the time, I will think of matrices as these transformations, and that is enough. Nothing more to it. And observe here that with respect to this, with respect to the standard basis E1, E2, En, the matrix of this transformation is precisely A. So this is the transformation which is So that is so elementary row and elementary column operation. So what is elementary row operation? The first thing which I'll talk about, the interchange of two rows, interchange of two rows or two columns. So it may be operations on rows or operations on columns. So for example, if you take, for example, this matrix, here is a matrix 1, 1, 0, 0, and you apply the transpose here, then you will be getting here 0, 1, and 1 0. So this will be transformed to this. So interchange any two rows. So let me talk about a little bit more about this. So that is interchange any two rows over here. That is, and let me first write all those. And then the second is multiply any row or column by a non-zero scalar. So multiply any non-zero, any row or column by a non-zero member of the field, non-zero scalar. So these are first, I'll talk about these two transformations here. Now, let me first, let me again here talk about the third type of operations. I'll come in a moment, or let me write here. So the third is that add scalar, non-zero scalar multiple, non-zero zero scalar multiple of a row or column to another column, row or column. So these are elementary row and elementary column operations, you know. Now, yes, so these are elementary row. So now if you take identity matrix, apply these elementary operations are identity matrix, and then the matrix which we obtain, they are called elementary matrices. The matrices obtained by applying elementary operations on rows and columns are called elementary matrices. So for example, if you are given a matrix here, so you just take 1 0 1 0, and here 1 0 0 0 0 1. So you see that the cycle, 3 cycle permutes the identity. I mean, the first and the second rows are interchange of identity matrix. So this is an elementary matrix of the first kind. And similarly, you can talk of the other matrices, which are elementary matrices. Right? So the matrices corresponding to see multiplication to the ith row by a non-zero scalar is what is your DIA. I'll write it's DIA. So that is what is that matrix? That matrix is the matrix whose all diagonal entries are 1. Whose all diagonal entries are 1, and the ith row, ith column entries is 1. Right? So this is the thing which you obtain here. Now, so this is the elementary operation. Now let me make an observation, which I think we all know about. If you multiply an elementary matrix from left, it is the same elementary row operations. It is, you see, if you take an elementary matrix E, so this is obtained by some elementary operations and the identity matrix. And so that operation was either interchange of rows, interchange of so on. So it is the same operation. If you take multiply E to A from left, the same operation is done on A. So multiplying by A, by the elementary matrix E to A from left is doing the same elementary operations on A, and so on. So that is the elementary operation. So for example, if you multiply DIA from left, it will be multiplication to the ith row by A. And similarly, if you multiply from right, it will be the multiplication of A on the ith column. So that is the kind of thing which happens on the operation. So these are the elementary operations. So now I'm coming to an important type of matrix. So okay. So now let me come to another matrix. So you know the transposition corresponded to an elementary matrix. Now if you take a permutation P of Sn, suppose you take P permutation Sn, then P is what? P is a permutation on n symbols. So P is product of transpositions. So P, you can also apply the same permutation on the identity matrix, on the rows of the identity matrix. So you can apply the same the permutation P on the identity matrix. In other words, it is successive. You are applying the first kind of elementary matrix operations, interchanging the rows or interchanging the columns if you multiply from right. So this P corresponds to a matrix. What is that matrix? That matrix MP, which I am writing down, is what? It is the matrix which is obtained by permuting the rows of the identity matrix to with the help of these permutations or with the help of or columns. So that is the matrix P. And you see that MP is again a member of general linear group. Right? P is a matrix. So P is invertible. So the inverse of MP is what? MP inverse. MP of the permutation inverse is an inverse of this matrix P. So that is MP inverse. So you see that this is a mapping, and this is indeed, as we have already observed, that the matrix representations gives you the homomorphism. It respects all operations. So therefore it is a homomorphism. So it is a homomorphism, and clearly it is an injective homomorphism. So Sn can be thought of. So Sn can be thought of. This is a very important observation. Sn can be thought of as a subgroup of G and F, and the images which I'll write down is P and F. So let me write down P and F. These matrices are called permutation matrices. So these are called permutation matrices. A special type of monomial matrices, permutation matrices. So this is P and F. Now let us look at the diagonal group, D and F. So what is D and F? D and F is the set of all diagonal matrices whose all diagonal entries are non-zero. So they are all members of G and F. And this is also a group with respect to the product of the matrices. And it can be as a group, it is simply isomorphic to D1F. D1F star means the first entry, first column is non-zero, and then the rest is identity. That subgroup cross D2F star and so on, cross D and F star. So it is, for example, if you take F to be a complex field, this is a torus. So D and F, this is the diagonal subgroup. Sometimes it is called the maximal torus in the G and F. I mean, the name has been borrowed from there. So this is the torus, and indeed it is the maximal torus that way. I mean, maximal subgroup that which is isomorphic to this content. We'll talk about this maybe later. So that is the diagonal subgroup D and F. So now look at the permutation matrices. So what represents a permutation matrix? Think of a permutation matrix. So it is a matrix obtained by permuting the rows of the identity matrix. So this is equivalent to say that the elements over here, the matrices over here, they can be characterized by the following property: that in each row and in each column, one appears once and only once. So what is P and F? P and F permutation matrices can be characterized by the property that it is a matrix whose all entries are one or zero, and in each row, one will be at just one place, and in each column, one will appear just at one place. So that is the P and F. You can observe it, and if you see it, if you get any problem, please ask. So it is a study program, and please feel free to intercept and interact. So that is the permutation matrices. Now recall here that diagonal subgroup is a normal subgroup of diagonal subgroup. This normalizes diagonal. So if, for example, if you take DI A and P here, then P, if you take multiply by DIA. So what is DIA? This is the matrix, the diagonal matrix whose ith row, ith column entry is A. So that is DIA. So if you multiply this with this, you can easily observe that this is DJA, where J is what? J is that column. P is the permutation matrix. So P is a permutation matrix. Means in ith row there is only one appearing. So that will appear in some column, say J. So that you take to be DJA here, and you can easily check that DIA into P is P into DJA. So what does it mean? This simply means that P inverse DIA is again a member of a diagonal, and these DIA generate DNF as you have seen here. So therefore, these are DNF is a normal subgroup. So this means that DNF is a normal subgroup. DNF normalizes this. That means DNF into PNF is not a normal subgroup. That is also PNF. Diagonal subgroup need not be a permutation matrix because the entries may be different from identity. So PNF here, so it is not contained here. So PNF, so therefore these two subgroups commute because of this. So this is a group, and this group, this is a subgroup of GNF, and this we denote by NNF. This is a very important group, NNF, and this is called monomial subgroup of GNF. This is called the monomial subgroup of GNF, right? This is called the monomial subgroup of GNF. And let me observe here again, here also, that NNF is what? NNF is the group obtained by applying the permutation operations, permutations on the diagonal matrices. Right, permutations on the diagonal matrices that you have seen here. So they are the elements, they are the matrices in NNF. So here also you observe that what are the properties of the members of NNF. This is something which has to be observed and which will be useful for the further discussion. So what is NNF? NNF is the matrices. It consists of those matrices for which in each row a non-zero element appears once, and in each column there is a non-zero element appears once and only. So they are not now one, but they can be non-zero members. So that is NNF. This is this is what we call to be a monomial group of GNF, monomial subgroup of GNF, right? So so this is your monomial subgroup, and as you have seen that this DNF, the diagonal subgroup, which is also called Cartan subgroup or maximal torus. I mean, we'll discuss in what form it appears. They appear in the maximal compact subgroups if you go to the real case and complex case. So DNF is a normal subgroup of, this is a normal subgroup of NNF. And what is NNF upon the quotient? What is this? You see, the intersection of the permutation matrices with the diagonal matrices is identity. It's clearly identity matrix. You've got permutation matrices, all the diagonal 1, 1, 1 are there. So therefore, that is the so therefore, what is this? This is isomorphic to the permutation matrices, which is your SN. So this is PNF. And this is your SN. So roughly this is, I mean, if you go to the more setting over there, this is termed as a while group. And if we come to the field of real numbers or complex numbers, these SN, the members here correspond to certain geometric interpretations are there as reflections and reflections. They appear as reflections of the about certain hyperplanes, R and etc. We'll see to this maybe sometimes this letter. So that is SN, and incidentally, in usual terminology, this is the wild group of the GNF. This is what is called the wild group of GNF. And here itself, let me observe here that the one of the very fundamental work in representation theory is that the representations of SN are important for the representations of the general linear group. I mean, they play a very important role. And the same about the maximal compact subgroups, DNF, the representations of DNF and so on. So that is a very important, crucial group, which we will see to it. So that is our NNF. There are further more groups. I'll here itself more subgroups I'll talk about. And that is, say, for example, the Borel subgroup. So what is Borel subgroup? BNF. So BNF is the set of those matrices, the upper triangular matrices. So this is the non-singular upper triangular matrices. So what are the matrices here? The matrices here is precisely the anything here but 0 below the diagonal. So such type of matrices here, so BNF. So if you multiply and the diagonals are non-zero, so these are non-singular matrices. If you multiply upper triangular matrices with an upper triangular matrix, that will again be an upper triangular matrix. Inverse of this also is an upper triangular matrix. You know how to find out inverse, the cofactor matrix, and then you take the transpose. So naturally it will come out to be the upper triangular matrix. So BNF is a group here, and you have recently seen this. This is a solvable subgroup. This is a solvable subgroup of GNF. And indeed, what happens, I'll say, make it more clear. So if you take the commutator of two matrices here, two upper triangular matrices, so suppose you take a commutator of a matrix here, here, and a matrix, another matrix here, here. So what happens? The commutator operations, what it does, the just above the diagonal entry, just above the, so first it will appear to be 1, 1, 1 in the diagonal. It will appear to be 1, 1, 1 in the diagonal. And so it will be a unipotent matrix. It is so actually BNF will be unipotent kind of matrix. So that is your UNF. I mean, if you look into those matrices whose upper triangular matrices whose diagonal entries are 1, then that also form a group that is called a unipotent group. All the eigenvalues of such matrices are 1. So this is what is called unipotent matrix, unipotent subgroup, and it's a very important group. BNF is a solvable group, and UNF is indeed a nilpotent group. This is the nilpotent group. This is maybe some kind of least theorem. So UNF is a nilpotent subgroup, and this is BNF is the solvable group. If you take the go on taking the commutators, one step above the diagonal will be 0. If you go again, the second above diagonal entry will be 0, and so on. And after NF, it will turn into identity. So therefore, this is a solvable group of the solvable index N, and this is also a nilpotent group. You can, if you you can do calculations easily. So I'm leaving this. Do some calculations. Please do some calculations. Take small matrices, order matrices, and verify that these things are there. And maybe this can be verified in terms of with the help of Steinberg identities, which I may describe a little later. So this is BNF, and this is called Borel subgroup. This is called Borel subgroup. Borel subgroup. So this is a Borel subgroup, and what is BNF intersection N? B intersection N? B intersection N. So I'll not write NF and so on. B intersection N is what? It's a diagonal subgroup. This is a diagonal subgroup, as you can easily see that B intersection N is a diagonal subgroup. B intersection N is a diagonal subgroup, right? And you and I'll talk about it a little later. So this is Borel subgroup, and this is N, and this is. So now I'll describe a little structure theory here. I'll just make some observation and proceed further. So okay, so let's go through. Okay, so now you had this B, the Borel subgroup, you had N, and you had the diagonal subgroup here. And I say that with the help of this, and of course, N by D here, that's the Sn, or what one called to PNF here. So with the help of this, the structure of GNF can be described. So I'm just stating a kind of result here to some extent, of course, and that is the TITS BN pair. So I don't know. I'm just informing you. Maybe we'll come sometime later. So TITS pair. I mean, this is how the theory for general semi-simple groups and productive groups proceeds, and the representation theory also. So TITS pair. So what is TITS pair? TITS BN pair. TITS BN pair or BN pair. So what is this? So then what I say here, now I put an exercise here, at least in case of GNF, it can be put as exercise. So I'm putting this in exercise. You try, please. So what is that? So, okay, so now GLNF is generated by B union N. So Borel subgroups are together with this subgroup N, union N, it generates GNF. This is the first property. Okay, and then the second is that N, let me see if I am not forgetting anything extra. So N, B intersection N is the diagonal subgroup, and B intersection N is diagonal subgroup, and the third property, so this is now, and then, okay, so now this N by D, so this is already observed here. This is generated by certain involutions. So there are certain involutions. So certain involutions means sigma I, let me write here, sigma I square is equal to 1. So, and this is a finite group. So incidentally, these things are already verified. I mean, this is the permutation matrices, and permutation matrices, you know, they are generated by permutation transpositions. So transpositions are of order 2. They can be viewed as reflections in the in Rn and so on. So that is sigma I square, but not all. There are several transpositions. You know that this I plus 1 they generate. So this is something related to the roots, etc. So this is sigma I square is equal to 1. So it is generated by sigma I here, and there's another fourth property which is also there. If you take B, so for any sigma I here, you have a corresponding N element of the coset. It is a member of the coset. It is a member of the coset, so you have the corresponding Ni. So one choice will be there, right? So B, and for Ni, if you take a representative Ni of N, which represents sigma I, then sigma B Ni is different from B. And if you take any N here in N, then B Ni N B is contained in B Ni B union B and union B again. So that is the, so these are the properties, and these are the properties which can be talked of in any arbitrary group. So you may talk of a group with BN pair. So given a group G, see actually what happened, that looking at the semi-simple theory, etc., and those things, TITS was first to see what is going over there, and he axiomatized those properties, and most of the results which come out of these properties, and that was something which was observed by TITS. So this is what is called TITS system or TITS pair. So you given any group G, if you have a subgroup B, you have a subgroup N with these properties, then that is called a group with TITS with BN pair. So here the GNF is such a group. Indeed, any reductive group, for example, and any sharply double transitive groups, and any say finite groups of Lie type, etc. They all have this this description. So that is why it is important, and it's a nice piece of work. It was a nice piece of work by Tits. So that is something which is there. So this is GNF. Okay. So that is the pair. Okay. So that is there. Now let me come to अब हम थर्ड क्या समय हमारे पास कब तक है? 10 मिनट और अच्छा, तो ठीक है, तो मैं थोड़ी सी और बेसिक चीज कर देता हूँ, उसके बाद फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम कुछ और वो करूँगा. तो नाउ लेट मी कम टू ओके. सो राइट. So now, so I talked about the permutation matrices. I talked about the diagonal, the second type of elementary operations, and then I'm talking about the third type of operations, which is multiplying the third type of operations. So multiplying, adding a multiple of row to another row, but adding a certain multiple of column to another column. So if you apply that, then you take Eij lambda. So this is a matrix which is obtained by adding the lambda times the jth lambda times the jth row to the ith row. Lambda times jth row to the ith row of the identity matrix. That is the Eij lambda. So this is what is called transvection matrix. This is called transvection matrix. Transvection matrix. Transvection is some geometric flavor. Transvection matrix or shear matrix. Shear matrix maybe some mechanical coming from mechanics and so on. I don't know. So so name comes from there and there is a region with shear stress, and I'm not clear about this. So anyway, so this Eij lambda, this is what is called a transvection matrix. So what is Eij lambda here? If you multiply Eij lambda, so Eij lambda can also be thought of as identity plus a matrix Eij. What is Eij? Eij is a matrix whose ith row, jth column is 1, and the rest, sorry, lambda times, let me write lambda into this thing. Lambda Eij. So Eij is a matrix whose ith row, whose all entries are 0 except the ith row and jth column entry, which is lambda. So that is lambda Eij. So you see that Eij lambda is just identity plus lambda Eij, and that is a transvection matrix. So now if you take Eij lambda and multiply with A from left, from Eij from left, then it is adding again the same type of operation, the j lambda times the jth row to the ith row of A, and the same thing about the column if you multiply it from right here. So that will be on column. So these are transvection matrices. Now I'm just stating certain result about Eij lambda there. So these are the properties which are satisfied by you can easily verify. Again, you can I'm leaving this an exercise. You can easily see that Eij lambda into Eij mu is equal to Eij lambda plus mu. Observe that Eij's lambdas, they are all matrices with determinant 1, because all diagonal entries are upper triangular or lower triangular matrix. So therefore, it is its a determinant is 1. So Eij lambda all belong to SLNF. Eij lambda all belong to SLNF. So just stop. Eij lambda into Eij mu is lambda plus mu. You use this identity, and then it's a simple multiplication. You can easily observe this. And then the second thing, so therefore, Eij lambda inverse is Eij minus lambda, as you see here. And similarly here, you can take, I'm putting a relation, Eij lambda and Ej k mu. So, and take the commutator. So commutator, you know, commutator you already know in a group. So what is a commutator? So commutator of two element in a group is A, B, A inverse, B inverse, and this we denote by AB. This is called what is called the commutator of A and B. So the commutator of Eij lambda, Ej k mu, you can easily see, and I'm taking I to be different from K. So that is your Ei K lambda times mu. So the the inverse is just the reverse order. AB का inverse क्या होगा? BA होगा. So you can you get the similar thing if I is equal to K and J and L are different. The same relation you will be getting. And third, if J is different from K and I is so EI lambda EJ EKL mu, they will commute. If J is different from K and I is different from L. So therefore, you get all relations, commutative relations among these entities. Now, these are the identities which are called Steinberg identities. These are the identities which are called Steinberg identities, right? So that is the Steinberg identity about the elementary matrices. Now I'm coming to a basic thing here. You recall. So recall, and maybe I can give you an algorithm. You can people can program it. So recall that any n plus n matrix, non-singular matrix, using elementary row and elementary column operations can be reduced. ये आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा. It can be reduced to a matrix of this type. It can be reduced to a matrix of the type A1, 1, 1, 0 here, using the elementary operations of Eij lambda. So that means what it simply means that you take a matrix A and you apply the elementary operations Eij lambda. So Eij lambda 1, I1 J1 lambda 1, I2 J2 etc. lambda 2 etc. from left and from right. You will arrive at identity at a matrix of this kind. At a matrix of this kind, right? So therefore, now what are these? These are the members of SNLF. So A can be retained as a product. What does it mean? This simply means that GLNF is generated by Eij lambda. We can make it Eij lambda such that lambda belongs to indeed इसको भी हम कम कर सकते हैं. तो lambda belongs to F star I different from J and union D1A. So the first entry may be anything here D1A or D1 the group D1 union the D1. So this is the group generated by this. Right, so this is the GLN generated by this, and then SNNF is obviously generated by because the determinant is 1, so therefore it has to be 1 here. So it will be generated by elementary matrices. So Eij lambda. So SNNF is generated by Eij lambda. They are generated by Eij lambda, and there are relations about Eij lambda Steinberg identities. So anyway, you can just commute and you can have relations, the multiplication things over there. So those are important things. So this is GLNF and this is your SNNF. About this. So that is there. And one more thing I'd like to observe here. So this is also, I mean, I think this is something you please do. If you have not done, please do, or you may ask. It's a simple algorithm. You can how to interchange and so on. So a matrix so that it comes out to be. Say for example, I can illustrate here. You take a matrix A here, A1, whatever it may be, and if it is a non-singular matrix, you know that this matrix, the first row will be non-zero. It has to be non-zero. Because otherwise the matrix cannot be singular, cannot be non-singular. So it has to be non-singular. If this is 1, if this is non-zero, then you can multiply by D1A inverse to make it 1 here, right? And once you make it 1 here, adding suitable multiples of this first column to other columns here, you can make all these to be zeros. And similarly, adding suitable multiples of the first row to the other row, you can make it here to be 0. And therefore, you will be getting, you can reduce it to the matrix B1, B, 0, 0, where sorry, A here, and where A can be taken to be the determinant here. So therefore, this B is simply this, and apply the same kind of operations over here. So then you can reduce it to the identical. And that is the usual trick. I think these things are done already done. So therefore, this is the these are generated by this. And one more thing I would like to observe here, that if a matrix, so observe, so maybe this is also you can take as an exercise, and you can easily observe, there's not much here. So if you take A, Eij is equal to Eij A, so that means 1 I am taking here. So then this will imply that Aii is equal to Ajj, and Aij equal to 0 is equal to Aji, right? Aji. So that this is something easily you can observe, because Eij is identity plus Eij. Here, and you see, multiply, simple multiplication, you put it here, left hand, right hand, equate it, and you will be getting this thing. So that is the matrix here. So therefore, if A commutes with all such elementary matrices, then that has to be a diagonal matrix. That has to be a diagonal matrix, right? A scalar matrix in a way, because Aii is equal to Ajj. So all the diagonal entries will be the same, and all the off diagonal entries will be 0. So that is the, so therefore, what does it mean? This simply means that the center of GLNF is what? Center of GLNF is what? It is just the scalar matrices, because all alpha will be there. It has to commute with the Eij. Not only center, I mean just commuting with the Eij lambda. Indeed, few we can reduce further. Orthogonal matrices के लिए शायद ये हो जाता है. Anyway, so center of GLNF is scalar matrices. So this is alpha I such that alpha belongs to F star. So this is scalar matrices, and this is isomorphic to F star here. Right? So therefore, you have center GLNF here, which is the center here, which is your F star, which you can identify with the scalar matrices alpha. And here you have center, and here is the subgroup of GLNF. And here you have what one calls a PGLNF, the quotient here, PGLNF, over center of GLNF. This is what is called PGLNF. And it has importance in the projective geometry, which maybe we can see. So this is this is an exact sequence, and observe that this is not a split exact sequence. This does not split here. So this does not split. That is called projective general derivative. Yeah. So GLNF over center of GLNF is what is called projective general linear group. Projective general linear group. Okay, so this is projective general linear group, and observe here that this is the same thing as SLNF over the center of SLNF. Isomorphic. The second isomorphism theorem, because you know that center into the scalar matrix that comes out to be GLNF. ये पहले जो observation किया था उससे आ जाएगा, right? And you take the SLNF and the center here scalar matrices, that will be the center of GLNF. So indeed, PSLNF and PGLNF, they are same. PSLNF and PGLNF usually they are same, and this group turns out to be most of the time simple group. PSLNF. So this is PSLNF, right? So this is a group, and these are all operate on the projective spaces. And a more general aspect may be to look at the subspaces, maybe Grassmannian, etc., which perhaps Himadri, etc. Will come to things to some extent. So that is the projective general linear group, right? So this is about this thing. Now I think next time I'll try to describe the structure of GNF a little bit more, and we'll try to describe all say normal subgroups of GNF. See, so therefore you see that SLNF. Okay, so now we have already observed that the commutator subgroup of GNF. Okay, what is the commutator subgroup of GNF? I should mention here also. GNF. You see, if you take a commutator subgroup, this is contained in SLNF. That's very clear, right? Because commutator is A, B, A inverse, B inverse, right? A, B, A inverse, B inverse. And A and B are matrices. So determinant of this thing has to be 1. So therefore, every element here is in SLNF. And recall here that EIJ lambda and EJ K mu. So I'm taking, for example, n is greater than or equal to 3. For 2, I have to describe it other way. So that is your 1. Let me write 1. So EIK mu. So any EIK mu, any elementary matrix turns out to be a commutator. Indeed, it's a commutator. So any elementary matrix turns out to be a commutator, which generates GNF. So therefore, what is this? This is precisely this thing. Incidentally, it is a fact, which is what is known as the Orr's conjecture group theory, that in PSLNF, in the simple groups, all elements turns out to be commutator. That's a very it was proved by Orr's conjecture. It was Orr's conjecture anyway. So forget about that. So that, but in general, in a group, not a simple group. So that is the final simple group that has been observed. So this is the EIK mu, and this is so SLNF. So therefore, you see that SLNF and SLNF is again SLNF means SLNF is a perfect group. It's a commutator the same as SLNF. It's not simple group, but it's a perfect group. It's a center. It's the center is F star. I mean, those alpha I said that alpha to the power n is 1. Because scalar matrices whose determinant is 1, so alpha to the power n. So this is not a simple but it's a perfect, right? So that is a thing. So these are the things about which. So I think thank you all for hearing. My writing थोड़ी खराब रही होगी, or I don't know. You may suggest something. I'll try to improve my writing on this. Board somehow because this is the first time Swapnil could make it possible. I could do it here. I had this, but I was not. I'm not quite illiterate in these things. So anyway, so thank you so much.
बहुत धन्यवाद सर.
और इसमें जो भी डिस्कस करना हो आप खुल करके पूछिएगा. यहाँ पे तो कुछ मैं चाहता हूँ कि लेक्चर के दौरान भी कुछ ऐसा अरेंजमेंट हो जाए कि आप पूछें, आप बात करें. तो ऐसा कुछ यही मैं कहना चाहता था कि कुछ अरेंजमेंट ऐसा किया जाए.
वो बिल्कुल है अरेंजमेंट, और हम लोग जो है कभी भी पूछ सकते हैं, माइक ओपन कर सकते हैं, वीडियो ऑन कर सकते हैं अपना. ये सारे लोगों को फ्रीडम है, और जितना ही ज्यादा हम पूछेंगे उतना ही बेहतर ढंग से हम सीख सकेंगे. हमें ऐसा लगता है. बहुत सारी एक्सरसाइजेस हम सबको मिली हैं करने के लिए. छोटे छोटे एग्जाम्पल्स को देखते हुए लेते हुए हम सब कर सकते हैं. अगर जनरल रिजल्ट प्रूफ नहीं हो पा रहा है, नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो बेहतर होगा कि हम एग्जाम्पल से शुरू करें, और फिर चीजें नहीं हो रही हैं तो सर से पूछेंगे. और एक बार पुनः सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप सब ने सुना, सीखा, और नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में हम सब कुछ सवालों के साथ, अपने सवालों के साथ सर के सामने होंगे और इस सेमिनार को हम फ्रूटफुल करेंगे. जैसा कि ये पहले भी मेंशन है कि ये सेमिनार शुक्रवार, फ्राइडे और मंडे हफ्ते में 2 दिन होगा, बाई वीकली, और जिस शाम को 3:30 से लेकर के 5 बजे तक. तो 50 मिनट हम सोच सकते हैं कि सर को हम लोग सुनेंगे, और करीब 40 मिनट हम लोग अपने सवाल सर के सामने रखेंगे. तो थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू, और सर से लगातार हम लोग सीखते रहें, सर हम लोगों को सिखाते रहें. बस इसी उद्देश्य से इस सेमिनार को आयोजित किया गया है। हमें लगता है कि आप सभी के सजेशंस इस सेमिनार को आगे बढ़ाने में फ्रूटफुल होंगे। थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू।
थैंक यू सर।
प्रणाम सर।